Welcome to Spotlight Gulf Coast, a weekly showcase of people and events across South Mississippi. Sponsored by the IP Casino Resort and Spa, Mississippi Power Company, Wycurt Realtors Gulf Properties, and Butch Ostolet Autoplex.
Hi everyone, this is Todd Trenchard, Executive Director of the Bakel Foundation of South Mississippi, welcoming you to another segment of Spotlight Gulf Coast. Each week we're coming into your living room talking about what's going on all across South Mississippi, and we want to thank our sponsors for this generous opportunity. Today we're going to be talking about the YMCA, which I happen to know a little bit about, and joining me is my good friend Scott Lemon, and I'm going to start with you, Scott. Of course, we're going to get over to Jara Miller, who is our new CEO, or not new, been here for about a year. But I did want to start with you. So thank y'all for coming on.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Scott, we go back, well, as long as I've been in Ocean Springs. And if you thought of Ocean Springs, you thought about brooms and you thought about YMCA.
They're right across the street from each other.
That was town central right there. And, I think it still is in a lot of ways. And I know that, of course, Lemon Moeller has been an integral part of it. I know since I've been there. And we'll talk a lot about that, actually, even with Ray being the humanitarian recipient this year. But let's talk a little bit about your involvement with the YMCA.
Well, yeah, I'm really excited. This is my second go around to be on the board. I'm in year 7 of this term. When I moved back to Ocean Springs in 2000, I was asked to join the board. Of course, in those days, it was a much smaller facility and harder times.
Right.
Very big heart for serving the community, and it's really been neat over these 22 years of being in and out of board service or participating in the Y to see the lives touched at the YMCA.
I know that being new to Ocean Springs, the town was a lot different back then than what you're seeing today. But the Y was sort of that little staple on one end of town that I can remember going there at 5 o'clock every morning.
Yep.
And David Harris would open that door up and I'd be in that swimming pool at 5 o'clock. And I could tell you George Murphy was swimming. I could tell you the people that y'all were probably on a bike. But, and I learned a little bit about the Y. And this would be a good time to segue into you, Jara. You've been with the YMCA how long?
11 months.
Okay, here.
Just here. Over 20 years throughout my tenure with the Y. Started in the mid-90s in Nashville, was in the Jackson area for 17 years, and now in Ocean Springs.
Now, the Y's got a sort of, principle that all Y's follow, and what would that be?
It's really just to serve our community. We're focused on youth development, so we want every child to develop to their full potential. We are for healthy living, so improving community health and well-being, whether that's in a little neighborhood, a county, a city, a state, across the U.S. and even the world. And then we're for social responsibility, where we give back by partnering with other nonprofits and providing financial assistance to those who may need help just to participate in Y services, or using our membership base as well as a conduit to do more good in the communities we serve.
Right. And they certainly have done that. You think of the YMCA, and I don't know that you could think of a more complete representation from little kids all the way to senior citizens and everything in between. And I know, Scott, we have seen a lot of things and a lot of change over the years. And of course, your family and yourself have been very involved in that. Like you said, serving on the board's one way, but you've also gotten your company behind it pretty significantly.
Yeah, our company, Lemon Moeller, believes in serving our community just as much as serving our clients. And we believe that the YMCA is a great way to reach into our community. And as you said, it's for any age group. It's the bricks and mortar is in Ocean Springs. However, there's ministries, after school care, and programs run all along the Gulf Coast and all the 6 coastal counties. And that's one of the things we're really excited about, to be able to be a part of the YMCA ministry and missions for any age. My father had Parkinson's. We have a great Parkinson's outreach. My mother's 85. She loves to come do Y activities and walk around the track. I have nieces and nephews and grandchildren that are under 7 years old, and they love to be able to go up and participate in Y functions as well. So it's there for everybody.
It is, and it, like I said, it was one of the first places I got to know and sort of got to know my community a little bit. And I think that would be sort of similar across anywhere a Y is. I know we have some. There was one in New Orleans where I grew up, right around Lee Circle. It was downtown, right there, and
wow.
sort of a unique place to have a YMCA, but same sort of thing. And I think they're most of them are probably well known for their pool. I mean, because that's becoming less and less of a given in communities, and a lot of people like that type of exercise, especially as you get older, I think.
And that's the beauty of the Y. I tell people we're for all ages, life stages.
Mm-hmm.
I have been with the Y for decades now, and you give us a place to meet and we will make a Y out of it.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a bricks and mortar facility. It can be a church. It can be an apartment complex. It can be a school. That's the beauty of the Y, bringing that community together wherever we happen to be.
Right. Now, Scott, we were talking about, if we just talked about the humanitarian award, which has been really a short period of time, maybe under 15 years.
Yeah.
But the Y has grown so much in those 15 years from what it was. Even when you're looking at it today, it's a different footprint, it's a different layout. I mean, you even go across the street. We were talking about there's even some possibilities of expansion from where it's at today to where it's becoming just really the town center.
Yeah. We're really excited about the opportunities, and Jara can share a little bit more. We had Grow in last week and met with all of our staff and several of our board members to look at the facility, to look at our footprints, to see how we can better serve the community on where we are. And it's really been neat to watch over the 20 plus years that I've been involved, to see that footprint grow, to see those ministries grow. And it's really generational. It really is. There was a young family that was here when I moved back here, that were pretty much homeless, and the Y took them in, did preschool with them and daycare with them and after school care with them, helped get them to dental appointments, and we watched 3 of those graduate from high school, and 2 of them are in college right now. And,
right.
And it's just how the ministries of the Y benefit our community. Really neat.
Yeah, the pool area has changed a lot over the years too, just from making it all 3 feet across, but you save money on, chemicals. You made it a lot safer. Back in the day, you could go down there.
Yeah.
Trying to get back up to the top was sort of a feast. But I do want to talk about how maybe you've seen over the 20 years that you've been with the YMCA, how some things have changed. But there's so many exciting possibilities. So y'all don't get up from here and run away. We're going to come back and do one more segment. Don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about the YMCA, and Jara, we were talking before the break. You're talking about Grow, which I guess is a consulting company that comes in and gives you some ideas, things that they've seen that might work. And at the break, we were talking about that there's some renovations coming to the pool area, because we were just talking about that. Really, with a footprint as large as it is, I mean, it's infinite possibilities of things that you could do.
It is. And having Grow's expertise is very helpful for us to figure out what's the best use of the resources we have.
Right.
You could do anything with any amount of money. Unfortunately, we're not at that point where we have an unlimited bank account. So we want to be wise stewards of that. So some of the things that we're looking at and we're doing already this fall, our pool will be renovated in November through December. So new lining, new tile, new flooring around the pool deck to make it safer and more enjoyable for everyone. And then we're also looking at outdoor pool expansion. Around this area, water is everywhere, and we want to teach even more children how to swim. We currently have our 3rd grade swim program, which has grown over the years, and we were awarded a Pool Corp grant to allow us to teach an additional 1,000 swim lessons and to certify 100 lifeguards. And we just need more water and more space to do that.
That's probably where most people learn their, I guess, lifeguarding sort of skills. I think the miners did that forever and ever. And I remember that's where I first heard it. But the why, again, going back to it as I know my involvement with it, about probably 12, 13 years ago, we came up with this idea of some way to celebrate somebody that had been an integral part of, and we've had some great recipients over the years. Of course, yours was a couple years ago, and it's almost become a challenge to outdo the year before. It's just, but that it should be. It should become a lot more, familiar to everyone. And this year we'll be celebrating Ray Wesson. And of course, Ray, tell us a little bit about Ray.
Well, I think it goes back to the foundation of this award and being named after John Blossman. And I had the chance to serve with John and grew up in town with John. He and my dad were great friends. And just a selfless community servant. And I think to have the Blossman Award named after him, it makes it even that much more special. And you look at some of the recipients over the years that you mentioned, and all those years that you emceed the event,
right?
Really kind of makes it very special. This year we're celebrating Ray Wesson. He is a legacy member of the Y. His family, his father and mother were supporters of the Y back in the early day.
Right.
And, Ray's just a humble servant in this community all across the Gulf Coast. If you look at things that he's worked on or done, he's done a lot of things for others. And we're really excited to celebrate him and his family and his contributions. You talk about outdoing the previous year. Ray's one of the most competitive people I know. I was raised with him. We were great friends growing up and spent time together as family through the years. And he's really reached out to make sure that we're building some support mechanisms for these ministries that we support. So we're excited for Ray Wesson and the family and to recognize who he is doing in the name of John Blossman and those that have received it.
I know the Wesson building, I remember it at St. Paul. That's where your mom would always be hanging out in the kitchen back there at the Wesson building. But Ray's, been a part of Ocean Springs for a lot longer than I have. In fact, I think they lived on East Beach there. And
exactly right.
Yeah, Buddy Gunn's house.
That's right.
Today, but that was one of the first lessons I got. That's the old Wesson house. So, and that's how I learned a lot of my history through, a lot of the people like Scott's family. And it's got to be neat coming into a town that has such history that, obviously there could be a lot of people calling, giving you ideas on what they'd like to see better. And
it is great though. It is. I tell people, Ocean Springs is like Mayberry and Key West blended together.
It is.
You've got that small town. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone's there to help. But there's just enough flavor to keep things interesting.
Right.
So it's been great being here.
It's, I remember when we had two Ys. We had one up on the highway, and you had that little top secret little pool up there. You didn't want to tell anybody because there would be too many people. But a lot of good things. Special Olympics we have there. That's where I met John. I met John because he came to everyone, and I had missed one then since. I always come back every year from and try to be supportive of that. So many things that have gone on when we were doing the edition. I remember the original breakfast with Randy Doyle and Mickey Williams and Roland Weeks. And I said, it can't work. There's no way that we can expand and be able to do this. Of course, I wasn't thinking that it would become a family-oriented type place. Just thinking about working out. And that's, having limited, I guess, just thought process. But there's really nothing that you can't do and come up with programs to sustain it. And I guess that's what you're implementing as you come down.
Yeah, and again, that's the beauty of the Y. We can grow and evolve and meet community needs as the community changes.
Right.
So, 30 years ago, most Ys may or may not have allowed women in them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, half of the Y population membership is female. We are open to Christians and non-Christians alike.
Right.
And you don't have to be young. We now have more older members than young members. And so we've developed programs like Parkinson's, our senior activities, to address that need because that's what's needed right now.
I think most people would certainly agree. If you have a doctor, which most people should have, that physical activity and getting involved in a YMCA or some kind of fitness program sort of benefits you a little bit. As you get a little older, you're like, I should have been listening a little more to that earlier. But you have seen a more health conscious community today than you did 20, 30 years ago. I mean, smoking's now out, and, growing up, that was the only thing that, you did. I don't think you could even find a place where, that's acceptable anymore. So it's the perfect time for these expansions, the perfect time to reach out and maybe hopefully teach the younger ones so they can grow up thinking,
Exactly.
not like we did.
Well, yeah. Well, Todd, we have a saying around our house about everybody needs a third place. We have a home and we have a work and we need some third place to go. And that's different for everybody. And it's really kind of neat because I'm in the Y some mornings at 5 a.m. and sometimes I'm in at 8 p.m. and
Right.
meetings in between. And it's so neat to see the people that are down there playing ping pong or foosball or just sitting reading a book or on the Wi-Fi doing homework.
Right.
And it is that third place. There's child watch, so young mothers can bring their children and let them be cared for while they're just having some free time.
Right.
Maybe it's an exercise, maybe it's just some free time. So, I think that's what that expansion and that's what the YMCA brings to our community, is that place just to be.
Okay.
sometimes.
Well, I appreciate both of y'all coming on, taking the time to come over here, and we look forward to the humanitarian banquet that's on
November 17th.
November 17th. And we'll be right back after our word from our sponsors. Welcome back, everyone. We're now joined by Amanda Ray. And Amanda, I know that you brought a special friend with you.
I did. A
And,
very, very special guest today. We were actually together this morning running together, Libby Rickley.
And that's about, we were talking about, and I guess that's what we're going to try to focus on this segment. The Y is a place where people come together, they meet, they find similar interest.
Exactly.
And from there, there's infinite possibilities.
Exactly.
I know, Libby, I've seen you, for the last couple of years over there. I know you run a lot. I see you, running through town. I used to see Amanda doing the same, so I assume you both like running.
Yep.
And I was able to come to that race the other night, and lo and behold, if you didn't win the silly thing, and I was like, here she comes, I know her.
Number one. She was on the
Running
Baco
for
team.
Baco.
Yay.
That's it. But let's talk a little bit about that, how y'all met. I think at the time you were
So actually,
on staff there.
well, not quite yet.
Before?
Well, Libby and I met right about 4 years ago. The Y is such a place for friendship, community. As a military wife, we moved to Ocean Springs a few years back, and that's really where Libby and I met. That's where I made all my relationships and friendships is from the Y. Libby and I met, I think, in the lobby. She was teaching a class maybe, and after that, we found out that we were both twin moms. We both liked to run, and then that was it. So we both became instructors at the Y. Libby's actually a board member now for the YMCA. So really, we owe a lot of our friendships and relationships that we built through the YMCA. It's such a community-driven resource for us.
Right. Now, Libby, tell us a little about Nebraska. Where's that? That's north of the interstate, isn't it?
Nebraska's right in the middle of the U.S.
Well, actually, I know the Cornhuskers very well. They used to have an unbelievable football team back in the day.
We used to be good, and that's where College World Series
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
So I know
wow.
a lot of the Ole Miss and Mississippi State fans have been up there. But we moved here 7 years ago, kind of like Amanda, no family here.
Right.
Didn't know anybody, and just made some of the best friends there. It's so much more than a gym to so many people. I've had a baby since I've been here. She was in the child watch all the time, teaching a class here, and just trying to get involved in all the events. And it's just really incredible what the Y means to so many different people.
You just mentioned child watch, and I was just thinking about as a new family here on the Gulf Coast with not a lot of resources, not a lot of, we don't have parents, grandparents here to help. That was one of the things that really stood out to me that I loved about the Y was the child watch, the date night out, the
Right.
mom's
Absolutely.
morning out, because before, when we first moved here, the boys weren't in preschool. So things like that. And I mean, through the resources and programs that the Y offered, I was able to make so many other mom friends and running friends and things like that, because it allowed us the time to put our kids in child watch for 1 or 2 hours, and we could go on a run and
Absolutely.
things like that. So I'm definitely so grateful for that and the friendships I've made through the Y.
I know that, we've discussed about how we can get more involved with something like that has that similar interest, how we could put on a run or how we could put on something that adds a little bit of oomph to whatever.
Yeah.
And really that's what we do. I mean, and hopefully sustain some of the programs that are in the local community. It's important to get involved in the local community. I know that both of y'all have gotten entrenched not only at the Y, but throughout the city and service organizations, that type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
We're both in Dutchess together.
Yeah.
Right.
So Libby is first year board member with
Yeah.
the YMCA. So how has
Yeah.
that been so far this year being on the board, and what kind of things does Jara have you guys doing?
It's been a really good experience because, of course, I knew what all the Y did for me and my family, but I didn't know, like Scott was saying earlier, all the different ministries across the county. It's really incredible to see the numbers and see how we're impacting others. And that's why this humanitarian coming up is such a big deal, because we're going to raise so much money for scholarships for kids and families that might not be able to participate in some of these programs. But no, the board's been great. It's a great group of people. Some people that I met when I first moved here through the Y.
Right.
It's just been neat to serve on some of the different subcommittees and just helping out where I can.
I know that, again, the Y board was pretty much a collection of people from all over. It wasn't just Ocean Springs either. And a lot of times this would be a great way to interface with people maybe that were outside your local community and get some, different ideas. And it would certainly be one of those boards. I served on it for years and years and years. Every position you could serve, got entrenched into the community. And I'm sure y'all have seen that through the Y, through the Dutchess Club, the importance of service. And a lot of times I know growing up, I'd see people on boards. I was like, wow, how do you get that? Well, ask.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you possibly volunteer?
Yeah.
They're looking for people to do that. And that's what I don't think people understand.
Yeah. Well, and with Amina and I, we used to be, I think you were a social worker, weren't you? And I was a counselor. And so now that I'm a realtor, I'm still helping people. But this just really allows you to kind of have that philanthropic feel and to really get into the community and help people. So, yeah, it's been a really good experience.
I know the Y, y'all have a little indoor running track, and it always has to go this way, so I go the other way. Just
I'm sure you do, just to mix it up.
Yeah, just so somebody will say, you're supposed to be going this way. But, I guess running is so good for not only your physical well-being, but your spiritual and emotional, and it's life. Without running, that's why I'm worried about getting old. I mean, what am I going to do? I guess I can get in a pool and do something in the pool.
Keep moving. We
That's
call
it.
Our morning therapy session. I mean, it's just a great way for a group of girls and guys to get together, and we talk, and we just talk about what's going on in our life and the community, and it's just a great thing. Sometimes we'll run solo, but the majority of the time we're all running together, just talking, sharing ideas and things.
And without that, people just don't understand what they're missing.
No.
I mean, it's I couldn't imagine it.
Right.
Yeah, and the Y is nice to help us as runners to do strength work, to use the pool. We have a lot of friends that do triathlons, so they're always up there swimming and biking, and the strength work and the yoga. So there's just so much to do, that can help you out in that area.
I actually see quite a few of the board members there early in the morning at 5:15 functional class. I go to that class and body pump in the mornings, and Scott, Brian, there's a big group of guys that they're there every morning. They have their little coffee club after class. So
that's good, because it hasn't always been that way. It was a very select group that used to go that early in the morning. It's good to see, different people from different vocations all across the coast. And at the YMCA, you've been encouraging me to come over there because you can change, you can shower, go to work.
Right.
So anyway, I want to thank you ladies for coming on. I think we've sort of covered a little bit about the Y. This is something that certainly you could have multiple segments on, but looking forward to the humanitarian banquet again. That's coming up
very
November.
excited. November
17th. You can get a table, donate auction items, lots of ways to get involved.
Go to the website, mgcymca.org, with a Facebook page.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming on. Appreciate it. And we thank everybody for tuning in. Until next time, this is Todd Trenchard with Amanda Ray, saying so long, and may God bless.